first thing we need to deal with is safety before we go anywhere. Um, we don't, a person getting hurt or a person hurting themselves or hurting somebody else is not what we want. And safety should always be the first thing that we deal with. So, I mean, these are things that people know. Unplug any equipment before doing any kind of work on it. Do not let someone else turn on the radio for you. Oh, I thought you turned it on, and the person's laying out because the person didn't know or they forgot. They like Wally, he forgets every damn thing. So hold the plug. Don't pull it out by the cord because you damage it. Do not cut off the ground lead. That looks like something that we saw today, but anyway, we'll skip that. When I say the ground lead, everybody know what I'm talking about, right?
On the handheld?
No, on a plug, an extension cord. What we looked at.
Oh, yes, okay.
Okay. Do not work on equipment when you're tired and sleepy. Time to quit now, huh? Do not work on equipment alone. That's especially if you're going into heavy duty work. You don't want it because something happened to you. Nobody's there to help you. Know where the main power switch is located on what you're working on. And this is like if you got a station, if you're working where the repeater is, any of that stuff. Make sure the ladder is fully open. This is on ladders. Level, good condition. Test each step before putting your full weight on it. So you try it before you get up. Because I fell all the way off from the top of a ladder just because it was a rickety ladder and I didn't test it. We keep 3 parts of your body in contact. So in other words, you need to be able to keep maybe your 2 legs and 1 hand on the ladder and work with 1 hand. Or if you need both hands, you be on the ladder so that like your stomach can touch the ladder and your 2 legs. Do not stand on the top rung of the ladder. Never do that. Do not overreach while you're on the ladder. Electrical shock. We talked about this earlier. The most dangerous shock that you can get is from hand to hand because it goes through your heart. It don't take a lot of current to do that because from left hand to right hand, the current is flowing through your heart and it kicks your heart out of its regular beat and you're in trouble. Do not stand in water while you're working on electricity. When coming up on an unconscious person, always survey the situation to try to quickly assess what happened before taking any action. You need to know that that person is not still on electricity so that when you touch them, or if you touch them, you get electrocuted. And you kind of got to figure out what happened because if you calling for help, you got to be able to tell people something. Never touch a person that you see is lying on a live electrical conductor. Electric shocks. If anyone has a serious injury, a shock, or unconscious, immediately send for help. If you're trained in take life-saving actions as needed. First aid, rescue breathing, CPR, defibrillator, whatever. Okay. If you're going someplace else to work as a radio person, always sign in on arrival and departure. Upon arrival, immediately report to the command post manager or incident commander. Always let someone in authority know when stepping away from the site and make sure that you give the time that you expect to come back. Immediately report any sickness or injury to the command post, site manager, or incident commander. Use a buddy system in unfamiliar or dangerous environments. Okay. Adhere to the rules and policies. Rule, regulations, and policy are set by the following entities. These are entities that we, in what we're doing, come in contact with some kind of way. We don't realize it. Well, we all kind of know the FCC, but we're not a lot of people won't know that they coming dealing with FEMA, they're dealing with New York State Department of Homeland Security, they're dealing with NISM, CUNY, City College, WHCR, WHCR-EBT, and HEN. And each one of those has some kind of input into what we're doing. This is a basic breakdown on what the FCC is. It regulates interstate and international communications. It's the policeman for the air. Any kind of radio or communications, electronic communications, they are the top dog. FEMA. FEMA is about supporting U.S. citizens and first responders to ensure that the nation will respond together. We wonder where they come in. They have courses that we need to be up on if we're going to be doing what we got to do. New York State Department of Homeland Security. They the biggest thing with them is they are interoperable and emergency communication. And that's exactly what we do. We're interoperable because we're on a lot of different platforms and emergency communication. And that's you, Stu, because you guys are on different types of platforms that connect with each other. So you don't know that you're dealing with them too. All right? NISM, that's our connection. That's our main connection to the government. We got it through the CERT teams, and we got our own direct connection to it. So we don't have to worry. We don't have to go directly. If 911 is out, we still in the game because we got we can get downtown through NISM.
Can I ask you guys a question, please?
Yes,
and this
ma'am.
is completely offline. Does anybody know if there is a NISM for Nassau County?
Every county has a NISM. It's not nice. It won't be NISM. They have an emergency management department or agency.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
NISM,
No, I
NISM
did reach you, but
NISM
New York.
NISM
New York Emergency. I know.
NISM stands for New York City Emergency Management, but every county has an emergency management. Matter of fact, Yonkers, years ago, I met the guy from there, and he was the only person in Yonkers to be the emergency management. And I'm saying, how can you be the only person when New York City has hundreds of people? I don't know.
This is my problem. This is what I'm finding in Nassau, and I have a feeling I'm going to have that same problem when I get to Westchester. So that's why I asked. I'm sorry. That was offline.
It's all right. All right, CUNY. We're involved in CUNY because we're working on a CUNY campus, and they have their own rules and regulations. So we got to know, we got to follow through with that, with those regulations. Naturally, City College. The main thing with us with City College that it houses our repeater, and it's on their property, and we utilize the equipment on their property, so we got to stay with their rules and regulations. WHCR, everybody knows that, you know, that's the head boss, plus therefore WHCR now is the holder of the radio license that we use. So we gotta we gotta follow their rules. WHCR-EBT, it has its own rules and regulations or policies. Stu could explain those when it comes time to do that. And then we have our own way of doing things and policies, and so that's that whole list of things that people would need to be aware that they got to follow rules. This ain't just a fly-by-night situation. Okay, getting to the radio. a radio has to have, well, let me go back. Something went wrong here. Didn't mean to go directly here. But anyway, radio has to have, let me see something. All right, something got left out. What I wanted to put in between here is that HEN recommends that anybody that wants to actually get on the network should get on Zello first so that they can practice. And not only is it a point of practicing, you get familiar. I know there are people that when we first started, they was afraid to even look at a radio, furthermore, get on it. And now they're experts. And all of that happened through Zello, okay? And so, yes, you're gonna have people that, you know, they work with radios all day and so they feel they don't need it. But you're gonna have people that don't know which button to press, which end of the radio to speak to. And these are people that need to, you know, practice. And rather than getting on the radio and talking out in the air, you can practice on Zello, and it's almost the same, but it's private. It's not that everybody can hear, and you're not interfering, because when you transmit in the air, you're 10 to 1, you're going to be interfering with other radio operators and other communications. So Zello gives you an opportunity to practice by yourself. I mean, if you're afraid of it, you know, you can get familiar with it and whatnot. Plus, Zello in itself is a network. We use Zello. Our radio system went down, and we used Zello several times as our network, and we're still doing it. And
well, Wally, just a point of clarification. If we could just say for this video that Zello is just a brand name. What we're actually talking about is a cell phone-based walkie-talkie, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a cell phone-based walkie-talkie system when you talk about Zello.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Actually, the piece that I was looking for that I thought I put in here, I guess I got the wrong thing, is it basically says that it calls it a radio telephone. Oh, okay. So anyway, that we recommend that people do before they get on the air, because like I said, when you get on the air, then you start interfering. All right. Every radio, a radio is a device that transmits through the air, and you got to have a transmitter and a receiver. Okay, so that's a transmitter, and it's going to the receiver. A radio can transmit and receives in both directions. 1, 2, and that's a transceiver. And that's you asked about that. That's
yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
All right.
So that's our handhelds. Our handhelds are transceivers.
Yeah. Transmitting in one direction, and only one direction, is broadcasting. Like you listen to TV, you listen to the radio, it's only one direction. You don't talk back to it. Transmitting in both directions is two-way radio. Various types, there's all kinds of radios. FM, AM, shortwave, cell phones, TV, Wi-Fi, alarm systems, wireless video, remote controls, and like, yeah. All kinds of radios. Radar, okay? Satellite, all that's radio. Two-way radio provides a means of communication for organizations, businesses, agencies, and individuals who are providing services and assistance to others during times of emergency, disasters, when normal modes of communication is inadequate and
Interrupted
thank you.
or non-existent.
All right, and it provides news, yada yada. Two-way radio. Okay, basic technical terms. A radio must have an antenna. A person needs to know that because they take the thing out the box and they press the button and it don't work. They say, this thing don't work. Hey, did you put on the antenna? Oh, I got to put on the antenna? Yeah, you got to put on the antenna. Okay. All right. And you need to put on the antenna before you use it because you can damage the radio. See that? A person needs to know that. They need to, before they turn the radio on, they need to make sure that that antenna is on because you can damage the radio without the antenna on it. Okay. A channel. Channel is the frequency that you're on. It's just like a TV channel. You know, you gotta go to the right channel to get the program that you want. Point to point, that means that you're talking my radio directly to your radio. That's point to point. Repeater relays the message over a longer distance than your radio can do by itself. This is a diagram of, okay, the part where it says portable to base, that's point to point, straight up, right? And you see the blue arrow, point to point. The repeater is up on the top of the mountain, so the base is talking up to the top of the mountain and over to the car on the road, a greater distance away. You can even talk to the people in the town way, way in the background, okay? So that's the difference. All right, point-to-point information. One of the things that you need to know is if you don't have any kind of obstruction between you and the transmitter and the receiver, you can go a long way. To give you an example, the satellite that's used for communications at sea, I forget, I think it's 2,400 miles up in the sky.
22,000.
22,000, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You only use, because there's nothing between the ship and the satellite, we only use 40 watts of power. That's all. 40 watts of power. Some of these radios that we use around here is 50 watts. And you're going 24,000 miles on 40 watts. So without no obstruction, you can go a long way. But when you're talking on the earth, you have all kinds of instructions. First of all, you have trees, buildings, and whatnot.
Mountains.
And also, you have to take into consideration the curvature of the earth. Because if you're on one side, and the earth goes up and over and goes down the other side, the person on the other side is blocked out. So you have these different reasons. So when a person says, oh, I got a weak signal from you, change your location, you get a sense of why they're asking you to change the location, because maybe there's something that's blocking between the two radios. And so therefore, that allows a person to pick up the signal. Like you can see, the center one, at least you could get a little signal, and the one on the right, you get no signal. Okay, this is the radio that we got. It's a Retevis radio, relatively inexpensive. First radios we got were not very expensive, but they were medium range radios. But these are pretty close to what they do. They're not as good as the first ones. As a matter of fact, it surprised me. The first ones we got, those HYT radios, they cost $250, and that was 5 to 6 years ago, and they still cost $250. So they got to be some good radio. These are under $100, way under. Okay, this here, I had problems, and this is a significant thing that I have to get cleared up, because this shows you all of the different buttons on the radio and what they do, and this is what people really need to know. Okay, so this is the part where I said in the email to you that I don't have, and I need to get straightened out.
And Wally, maybe you can also, maybe not now, but the next time we do this, is actually have the radio in hand and reference it visually while it's in your hand.
Right. Right. And this is another one. Okay. All right. So this shows you the battery, the charger, signal strength indicator. I think most people are familiar with that because of their cell phones. All right. And we talk about common terminology. Copy means you received and you understood. Affirmative or negative means yes/no. Say again means please repeat. Loud and clear means the incoming signal is loud, the volume, and the signal is clear, clarity. So 5 by 5, you hear people saying, oh, it's 5 by 5, 5 by 5, but they don't know what the hell they're talking about. It means 1 to 5 loudness, 1 to 5 clarity. And that's unaudible. And so if he says 5 by 1, you can't even understand it. If he says 3 by 5, it's hard to hear. There you go. Right. Okay. All right. Copy or 10-4, receive and understand. They tell us to stay away from the 10 code. That 10-4 is the 10 code. Things like.
Well, we don't have the picture.
Huh?
We don't have the picture. We lost you for a while.
You lost the picture?
We lost you for a while. You were going for about 2 minutes.
So you're fine, Wally. I did not lose you.
Oh. All right.
I didn't lose you either.
Copy or
Okay, Evelyn didn't lose you either, so it must have been just me.
Okay. Copy or 10-4 means receive, understand that that is correct. They tell us to stay away from the 10 code, which is like 10, 10-9, 10-8, all of that. But you kind of should know what it means to an extent, especially the common ones, because they're used so often that people, you get a sense of what they're talking about. But you don't want to get too far into it. I'll give an example. In New York City, 1013 means a police assist. That means when you see these cars, police cars streaming through the streets, sirens coming from here and there, they're not coming to help you. They're coming to help each other, okay? That's a 1013, police assist. He needs some more cops on the scene because he's in trouble. And so they coming from everywhere. They leave all their posts, leave you out there stranded, might even run you over and to get to where they're trying to go. That's a 1013 in New York City. A 1013 in Yonkers means an accident. It's a big difference. And so, and this is that way throughout the country. And in what we're doing, we will be talking to people from different places, different communities, different states, different cities. And so you don't want to be using the 10 code. 10-4 is pretty common throughout most places, but it's better to say, I copy, I understand. They prefer you use plain language. I receive. Okay? Again, we going through affirmative, negative. We said that before. Say again. For some reason, we're repeating. An urgent message. In other words, if people are given like a report, a situation report, and something is really happening that's an urgent or an emergency, you're allowed to interrupt and say you got an urgent message. And the common courtesy would mean to stand down and let the person with the urgent message get through. Okay? At the end of your transmission, but you expect a reply, you either say over or okay. I've finished speaking, but I expect you to answer me. Okay? You usually find a lot of places use over. Fire department, the police department, they use K, but they both mean the same thing. Stand by means I finished, and I'm finished. I don't expect any reply, but I'll be monitoring the channel. So I'm finished talking. You don't have to answer me, but I'll be here listening. Out or clear means I'm finished. I expect no reply, and I'm going off the channel. No profanity. Speak English, which they have made English the international language. Stand by, over. Stand by, over, and out are incorrect. In other words, you can't say, I'm stand by, over, because when you said over, that meant that you want the person to reply to you. So you just stand by and that's it. Over and out, that doesn't make any sense. That's what they used to say, that's Hollywood. Over and out, but it don't make any sense because over means you want to reply. Out means when I say out, I'm clicking my phone off. So that's it. So it's incorrect and it doesn't make any sense. So you're either over, waiting for a reply, or out. Radio traffic. When there's more than a couple of radio units on the same channel at the same time, it requires traffic control. The following are at the radio traffic control offices. The following are at the radio traffic control office's titles. That doesn't make any sense. That needs to be corrected. These are the titles. You either got a network control operator, central, dispatcher, or the name of who it is, like citywide, like CCNY, like, you know, whatever. How to speak on the radio. Be sure to know how to operate the radio and that you are on the correct channel. A lot of that happens to a lot of people, including Wally. You understand? You talking, ain't nobody answering you. Something wrong with my radio? No, something wrong with you. Got to be on the right channel. Keep a watch, a pen, and a paper near you, next to you. Because, you know, when information starts coming, you're talking on the radio for a reason, and you can't keep all that stuff in your mind, especially numbers and street numbers and all kinds of different information. It's best to be able to write that stuff down. Take a minute to think about what you want to say before you say it. You know, just don't already have the answer. You know, think about it. Before pressing the talk button to speak, listen for 5 seconds to ensure that you're not interrupting some other person that's already speaking. they might have just paused for a minute to to collect their thoughts in their conversation. So you got to give a few seconds in order for to make sure that there's nobody already on the channel. Keep the microphone of the radio at least 2 to 3 inches from your mouth, because if it's too close, then it overdrives the speaker and it's very hard to hear. It's not clear. The press to talk button is the PTT button. It says that on the radio. After pressing the PTT button, take a deep breath before you speak. Okay. Part of what we're going to be doing, almost to that point where we're interfacing the radio telephone with the radio channel. And so now you got to wait for not only the beep, you got to wait for 2 beeps before you respond, because you got to wait for the equipment to clear before you respond. And it's something similar to like when you watch TV and they talking to a person in another state or across on the other side of the world, and they ask them a question and it takes them a second or 2 before they give the answer. That's because the wave went all the way up to the satellite and had to come all the way back down to the person on the other side of the world at 88,000 miles per second. But that's not instantaneous and it takes time. So we're gonna have to, and that's one of the things, like a person says, well, I use my radio all the time, every day, I know what I'm doing. No, you don't, because this, you tend to, as somebody asks you a question, you tend to answer it immediately. And here, you've got to get used to waiting for the beeps, or else, no, there's going to be confusion. Speak slowly, clearly, calmly, and clearly. Be efficient by trying to keep your transmissions under 10 seconds if possible. That, I know that's kind of exaggerating it, but you want to keep it as short as possible. We don't want to have long conversations. When you are finished speaking, immediately release the press the talk button so that the response of the next transmission can be heard. A lot of people don't know that. People may think that's, common sense, but a lot of people don't know that. You got to let the button go as soon as you're finished speaking. What to say? Indicate the name of the unit you're calling first and then identify yourself. A lot of times, and I'm even hearing the professionals and everybody, I had the police, the fire department, this is XYZ calling XYZ or XYX. Well, the reason why you want to call them first, because especially if it's not a real busy channel, the person is not just sitting there looking at the radio waiting for somebody to call them. They may be sitting there, they may be reading a book, they might be doing their log. You don't know what they're doing. It's like me saying, this is Wally. Stu. Well, you didn't hear, all you heard was Stu. You didn't hear, this is Wally. So now you got to turn around and say, who's that? Oh, this is Wally. No, but if I say Stu, that will get your attention, and then I say, this is Wally. And
gotcha.
So that's why you call the person first, and then you express who you are. Mm-hmm. Examples: base, this is hen. Central, this is CERN 1. Citywide, this is 2777. Network control operator, this is hen 6. Wait for the response. The call unit responds the NCO. N6, I hear you loud and clear. How do you hear the NCO? Over or K. The calling unit, which is Hen 6, I hear the NCO loud and clear. Hen 6 is located Malcolm X Boulevard and 147th Street. Over or K. The call unit, NCO repeats, understand you located in Malcolm X and 147th Street. Pause, and in case there's a need to be correction. So you repeated it, and you just give them a minute for them to say affirmative or no, that's not right. It was 148th Street. The NCO then gives military time and completes the call. 2050, this is the NCO standing by on channel WQKJ 301. So that's just an example. The reminder to everyone, the FCC gives fines of up to $20,000, and you can be in prison for up to 5 years if you're convicted for certain things on these radios. So there's too many rules and regulations to learn. So if a person just follows the procedures you receive with these trainings, you'll stay within the law. Out.